Hey, I'm Gary Edelman from the Civil War Trust. Here we are on East Cemetery Hill, and although we're on East Cemetery Hill, you really don't come out here very often. I'll bet you a lot of you have never been to this part of East Cemetery Hill. The reason about that is because here we are standing next to the Gettysburg Municipal Authority water towers here, and people really don't consider this battlefield, but it really is. In fact, behind the camera is East Cemetery Hill proper, where all the monuments and lunettes are, but in fact, the Union line, this is Harris's brigade, used to be Ames's brigade, 11th Corps, is not out that way, but is actually out this way. It's all the way out here, and you can see some markers right here. They go off in that direction, here, and then down the hill. And you're talking about the 107th Ohio, the 25th Ohio, the 75th Ohio, okay? These guys are thin here. Remember, they fought on the first day already, and by twilight on July 2nd, 1863, here they are 6 feet apart in some areas. They really don't have a very strong line. It's hard to see when all of a sudden Hayes's brigade of Louisianians pours out of the town. This is Hayes's guys coming straight this way toward East Cemetery Hill, unlike another brigade, Avery's brigade of North Carolinians, which is swinging over into the terrain over here. So these guys roll over these Ohio troops. There's this little sharp fight right out here, and then they're going to continue on toward East Cemetery Hill. The Union makes another stand at the next stone wall and at the next stone wall, but the Southerners continue on till they capture 9 cannons and temporarily hold the crest of East Cemetery Hill, and you know the story. Eventually the Confederates just can't hold on. Around 2012, I was walking around here and noticed a for sale sign on what is called the Thompson House. Not the Mary Thompson house on the first day, but owned by some people named Thompson. And I started looking around and thinking, well, this is actual battlefield land. This is where the Louisianians first confronted the Ohio troops on East Cemetery Hill. But you know, the trust usually doesn't purchase, you know, isolated houses that aren't touching other parts of the battlefield. It's a lot harder to move it into the Park Service thereafter. So I started looking over here, though, and noticed that there was kind of a tract of land. I didn't know who owned it. I presumed it was owned by the Gettysburg Municipal Authority, who owns the water towers over here. And indeed, they have some an overflow pipe going through there, and they did own it. And I found when talking to them that they really didn't have any use for this particular land. Long story short, by 2013, the Civil War Trust was able to both purchase this land from the Gettysburg Municipal Authority. They were great to work with, and the Thompson House over here. The Thompson House, we had a renter here for a while. I myself stayed here during the battlefield anniversary in the 150th in 2013, right above those markers over there. It was a great experience, separate story. But finally now we have gotten the necessary funds to be able to remove this house. This was always our intention to do so, and you can see it's underway right now. It'll probably be done in just a couple of months. We're being very sensitive to the battlefield features, such as the markers that the veterans themselves put up. And eventually, within just a month or two, I suspect, this land should be restored to its rough, approximate 1863 appearance. Now, after we do that, you know, a big question is, what should we do with these trees here? We know from 1863 photography that there were only a couple of trees on the side of this hill here. We know there's fighting here. We want to make sure we get it right. But if we remove these trees and say a lot of these trees in the former front lawn of the Thompson House, then we'll only open up the, high school football stadium and the school complex beyond. So this is the type of thing that, the national battlefields around the country, as well as stewards of private sites, have to deal with all the time. And we really need to talk to the Park Service about this. What do they want from their viewshed from East Cemetery Hill? I'd be curious in the meantime what the readers of Gettysburg Daily think.